It's time to talk about the birds and the bees, how to make your first avatar. You really can't say you've experienced everything Vrchat has to offer until you've tried creating something. We have the opportunity to make worlds and avatars of anything we can imagine. The only limit here is our creativity, or in my case, laziness. First, we're going to want to download Vrchat. It's really the only program we can use to fully test our avatars. Next, you'll probably need to download Unity in this specific version. You don't want to download the newer version because it's probably buggy and not supported by Vrchat. And we all know Vrchat doesn't have any bugs. I'm including the links in the description because if you have the same attention span as I do, you've probably clicked off this video already. Once we have Unity ready, we're going to want to download the Vrchat SDK. Without this, you won't be able to upload your avatar. Now, for an avatar, we're going to want to visit VRC mods. You can find a lot of great resources here like avatars and props. It does have a great selection of avatars, but unfortunately, since we know girls don't exist on the internet, there's really only one option, this wolf boy. Because nobody would ever pretend to be a girl on the internet, right? Next, we'll be downloading Poyumi shaders. Most avatars you see use this shader. It has a ton of options, and we'll be using this to customize our avatar. To really make our avatar unique, we'll download this gun, because nobody has ever done that before, and also this animation. Now we have everything we need except dynamic bones, the thing which gives hair and ear physics. We'll do a quick Google search to find dynamic bones. The first result is where you can buy it for $20, and the second one is where you can download it for free. Make sure to go ahead and buy it for $20 because your FBI agent might not be as forgiving as mine. After downloading these, you'll get a bunch of Unity package files, and you can either drag them into your program, double-click them, or manually import them from Unity. Make sure to take a quick look while you do this so you know where the files are going to be placed. You don't want to override your shaders with an older version. In Unity, there are four main windows you'll see: Hierarchy, Scene, Inspector, and Project. Hierarchy is the file structure of the scene, which is a visual representation of what you'll see. Inspector is where all the important stuff is, and Project has your project files. When you open the scene file, a common issue people have is the avatar is all pink. To fix this, just find the materials folder and set them all to a shader of your choice. If there is no project file, you'll have to manually drag the avatar into the scene and change its position to 000. If you imported your model from Blender, the materials might not be extracted and you'll need to extract them first. Before you can upload the avatar, it needs a VRC avatar descriptor. With this, you can set your viewpoint. Usually it's a good idea to put this slightly behind your eyes so that it more accurately represents real vision. Then you want to set up your visemes, aka lip sync. These are made in Blender and you simply set them to match in Unity. At this step you can upload your avatar already, but we're going to want to add a little bit more like physics and customization. For the hair physics, you add the dynamic bone component in your inspector and adjust the values to how you like them. To do this, you set them to target the bones that you want to move. You don't want to target your head bone or it'll move in ways it shouldn't. To make it so that your hands can move your ears, you also need to add colliders to each of your wrists, and then also in each of the dynamic bone components, target those wrists. Dynamic bone settings will vary for each model, so you'll likely have to do trial and error with your own. To start making this avatar our own, we'll play around with Poyumi shader to add outlines to our hair and change the color of the jacket. You'll probably want to play around with this on your own to try to see what kind of visual effects you can get. You can also get other shaders from VRC mods to customize it however you'd like as well. For the gun, we just drag the gun onto our avatar's wrist so it stays in our hand. We'll make a hand gesture so it only appears when you toggle it on. The easiest way to do this is just duplicate the animation that came with our avatar. Then in the animation window, click record and tick the box showing our gun. This animation has 2 frames which repeat infinitely, so you have to make sure both are the same. Once that's done, we can drag it into our animation controller and put it onto one of the hand gesture slots. Then we untick it so that it's not showing all the time. Here I messed up and my avatar is stuck in what's known as bicycle pose. This happens sometimes when you're editing animations, so usually what you do is create a duplicate to work on. A quick fix for this is just copy an animation from the Vrchat SDK called T-Pose, and then put it into your animation controller somewhere. Then you preview the T-Pose animation and edit it, and it should get stuck in the T-Pose position. We'll also drag the animation we downloaded earlier into an emote slot, and once we have everything set up, we can open our build control panel and upload this to our game. And then we can test it in-game from there. Now I know it sounds really complicated, but these basic principles you can apply to any avatar you make after this. So even if you don't get it on your first watch through, you can just go back and repeat it. This is pretty much the basis for almost every avatar that you'll see. Now if anyone asks you if that's a custom avatar or how to make avatars, you can tell them it's super easy and send them over to this video. Or you can say it's super complicated, but you're now opening commissions to get that sweet, sweet dough for VR and full body tracking. Here I'm just finishing up my avatar, just putting in a few final touches like the emission on the jacket and a little bit of rim lighting to give it some color. You can play around with these to your heart's content. I've personally spent hours playing with these. Alright, hey, so we're in game. You can see I got my hair, got my red outfit, looks alright. Doesn't have any face gestures, but nothing in my hands. Finger point, pulls the gun out. It's a little bit edgy, whatever. You can play around with it. You can see that the hand isn't quite like perfect. You can play around with it yourself and have fun.